and welcome to Will's Rugby Roundup. Going to be on both Facebook and Twitter as usual. And my topic this week is going to be the best team in the world, the All Blacks, the New Zealand rugby team. And they've recently won the Rugby Championship yet again, unbeaten, won all of their games. And what I'm going to talk about this week is, how do we stop them? How does anyone stop them? Can they be beaten? So I'm going to look at the team. Can they be beaten first of all, and who can do it? And I suppose the first question has to be, can they be beaten? Yes. I mean, they're an incredibly good team. They're incredibly talented. They're the best team in the world. But of course they can be beaten. You look at the Rugby Championship recently. In their last game, South Africa gave them a great game. They lost just 25 points to 24. Australia gave them a brilliant game earlier on, losing just 35 points to 29. So it's clear that they can be beaten. So that's the first thing. And I think now we have to look at who's going to beat them. I'm going to look at a few teams, and I'm going to start off with their two Southern Hemisphere rivals, starting with South Africa. Now, South Africa last year obviously were a bit of a joke. The Springboks had probably their worst year in recent history anyway. They were really quite a laughingstock, not good at all. But this year they've looked better. They've not looked perfect, but they've got 2 draws against Australia, run New Zealand mighty close, beaten Argentina when they've had to play them. So they're clearly getting there. They're clearly becoming better. And obviously with the result on Saturday, running New Zealand that close, they might be able to do it. Give them another year or two. The World Cup comes around, you never know. But at the moment, do I see them beating New Zealand? No, I think they gave them their best shot on Saturday and came up just short. And now we move on to Australia. It's along the same lines really. Australia have been a very inconsistent team of late. Obviously lost to Scotland in Australia a few months ago, which was obviously a terrible result for them. But then we've seen Australia with that game against the All Blacks earlier in the Rugby Championship. They've got some great talent. They're a good team when they want to be. But once again, I feel like they've given New Zealand their best shot and they've just come up short. So for the time being, I don't see them beating New Zealand. And now we have to move on to the Northern Hemisphere teams, and I'm going to bring up 2 teams. And the first one's going to be Ireland. Obviously Ireland's most recent team to beat the All Blacks in Chicago a couple of years ago, was it last year? Played brilliantly. They're obviously a very talented squad. But, then they lost to them in Dublin. Ireland, again, they remind me of Australia a bit. They can be very good, they can be brilliant at times, stopped England's unbeaten run. But you know what, with Ireland, they can also, lost to Wales and Scotland in the Six Nations. They can also be very inconsistent. So can I see them beating New Zealand anytime soon? No. Maybe in a couple of years, but I do see Ireland as maybe a bit of a fading force rather than a growing force, unfortunately. And the last thing I'm going to come up is England. Haven't played New Zealand in 4 years. Are due to play them next year as part of the Autumn Internationals. Now, I think England, out of all these teams, have got the best chance. They're the second best team in the world. They're looking brilliant under Eddie Jones, only 1 defeat. Series win in Argentina, series win in Australia, a series in South Africa to come up. So this game next year at Twickenham, England, New Zealand, it's the biggest game in a long time, barring the Lions tour, of any international rugby. Can England do it? They can, at Twickenham, but it's going to be incredibly tough, and I think New Zealand are still going to go in as favourites. But it's maybe a year away, but that is a game I think has got everyone excited, every rugby fan, because can England beat the All Blacks? This is a question we've been asking for a while. But can they do it, yes or no? It's hard to answer. I think they can do it, but you just don't know. You can't. I don't think you can ever say for definite that the All Blacks are going to lose. So to sum up, can the All Blacks be beaten? Yes. If anyone's going to beat them, it's going to be England. But let's wait and see. We've got the World Cup coming up in Japan. Hopefully we'll have a new world champion on our hands. And that's it for my rugby roundup this week. Do you think anyone can beat New Zealand? If so, who's it going to be? And if not, why can nobody beat them? So this video is going to be going out on Facebook, it's going to be going out on Twitter. I'm going to be putting it on my personal YouTube account, so you'll be able to find it anywhere. Make sure you download the podcast on both SoundCloud and iTunes. And this has been my rugby roundup. Thank you for watching.